Culture Readers. Foods. Level 4. Foods from Vietnam. Copyright 2022. Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Introducing Vietnam. Vietnam is a long, narrow country in Southeast Asia. The length of the country from north to south is 1,650 kilometers. But at its most narrow point, Vietnam is only 48 kilometers wide. The national flower of Vietnam is the lotus, which grows all over the country. It grows in dark, cloudy water, but the leaves sit on the water. The flowers rise above the water to get sunshine. Some Vietnamese say that the lotus represents their country perfectly. It shows their strong spirit. There are over 98 million people living in Vietnam. It is a country with over 50 different groups of people. Each group has its own language, culture, and, of course, foods. Their foods are so good that they are famous all around the world. Vietnamese food is known for fresh herbs and vegetables, tasty meats, and the use of spices. The most important rule in Vietnamese cooking is the rule of 5. There must be a balance between the 5 tastes: sweet, sour, spicy, bitter, and salty. The food must also be interesting to the 5 human senses. These 5 senses are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. For Vietnamese food, this means there are 5 tastes in the mouth. The food looks nice. The food has some crunchy sounds. There is the smell from the herbs. The food feels interesting to touch. Some popular foods in Vietnam and around the world are pho, banh mi, and spring rolls. Let's look and see how they follow the rule of 5. Banh mi. Banh mi is the famous sandwich that is getting more and more popular around the world. The word banh mi means bread in Vietnamese. It can also mean sandwich, since sandwiches are made of bread. French-style bread is used for making banh mi. This is because Vietnam was part of France for almost 100 years. Banh mi is a great street food since you can eat it with your hands. But if you want to make banh mi at home, it's also easy to do. First, you must cut the bread in half the long way. Then you take out some of the bread from the inside so you have more room for the fillings. Sauce is really important for flavor. Find one that goes well with your choice of meat. Then put it all over both pieces of bread. Many Vietnamese prefer a spicy mayonnaise. What if you don't like too much spice? No problem. You can also choose a light tomato sauce or a simple soy sauce. Next, you add the meat that you choose. The most common meat in banh mi is cooked pork, but you can use any leftover meat in your fridge and still make a delicious sandwich. The vegetables you add are usually chopped and pickled. These are often daikon radishes, carrots, and cucumbers. Fresh cilantro is also important. Finally, you close the sandwich. Cut it in half across for easy eating and enjoy. Did you notice how each ingredient, even the bread, gives a different texture, smell, sound, look, and taste? Delicious! Try making different sandwiches. Like with all sandwiches, you'll find your own favorite mix of flavors and textures. Pho. Pho is another common street food in Vietnam. But you definitely shouldn't eat it with your hands. It's a noodle soup. Pho is considered the national dish. Pho was originally sold by moving street cooks. They carried small kitchens on poles. From the poles, they hung everything they needed for cooking. One pole had a pot over a wood fire. The other pole carried noodles, spices, and other things needed to prepare a bowl of pho. This method of selling pho is not so common anymore. Now, most people prefer to eat it at outside pho stands or in restaurants. The dish's origin was in northern Vietnam. The people from the north brought pho with them down south. In the south, it was changed to fit the different tastes. The northern style only has noodles with meat, vinegar, fish sauce, and lots of green onions. The southern style added herbs like cilantro and basil, sauces like spicy chili sauce, and lemon or lime juice. But the most important part of making any pho is the stock, and it takes a long time. For the stock, people cook beef or chicken bones for several hours. They cook it with an onion, ginger, and spices. The spices include cinnamon, star anise, and black cardamom. Although pho is eaten any time of day, many Vietnamese have it for breakfast. A bowl of delicious noodle soup is a great way to start the day. Spring rolls. Spring rolls are a popular starter or snack across Asia. They are very different in each country. They are even different in different areas of the same country. There are two kinds of spring rolls that are popular in Vietnam. Goi kun are served fresh. Chao ya are fried in oil. But they are both made in a similar process. Let's look at the healthier choice first. Goi kun, the fresh spring rolls, are traditionally made of cooked pork or shrimp, fresh vegetables, and rice wrappers. Of course, herbs and spices are added to balance the 5 tastes. These are all mixed together in a bowl. Then the mix is put onto soft Vietnamese rice paper and wrapped into a roll. They are served at room temperature with dipping sauce. Overall, fresh spring rolls are definitely interesting to all 5 senses. They have the smell of the fresh herbs, the taste of the ingredients, the bright colors, the sound of crunchy vegetables, and the feeling of the cool rice paper. Chao ya are the fried spring rolls. Just like with the goi kun, the ingredients are not fixed. The most common main ingredients in the chao ya are ground meat, mushrooms, noodles, and vegetables. These are then rolled up in a piece of rice paper. Sounds the same, doesn't it? But the roll is then deep fried in oil until the rice paper wrapping turns golden brown. For both kinds of spring rolls, there are so many choices for dipping sauces. Each one adds another layer of flavor, and it's fun to try different sauces. Each part of Vietnam makes its own kind of food, but they all follow the rule of 5. Bright colors, crunchy ingredients, amazing smell, nice to touch, 5 tastes in your mouth. Go on and try everything.